I'm going to open with a little lens flare for dramatic effect. You like that? Poor lighting in the shop, huh? Anyway, this is the wine rack. We're presently 7 coats into a shellac regimen that will involve at least 12 coats. We're beginning to get a little bit of a film finish on it. I don't know if this is really going to pick it up. This is in between coats. I still need to sand this coat, so it's a little rough right there. The shellac doesn't build to a real thick coat. Like I just did some oil varnish blend on the project before this, and it was I was surprised. I'd forgotten how thick a coat that is compared to the shellac. I'll put it this way. You can kind of see it. So anyway, here we are at the end of stage 7. Stage 7. I'm about to put on the 8th coat, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. I've turned off the lens flare light, and I have sanded it. I'm using synthetic steel wool. This one's probably equivalent to double aught or maybe triple aught. It's the in-between coats one. It dulls it up a little bit. You can see down here is kind of a muted reflection. Here I didn't sand it so well. It's a little bit brighter. But this is just to get scuff marks and keep it smooth. The shellac blends into itself as I keep going, so I'm not going too crazy. Just making sure I don't build up an accumulation of drips or anything like that. And I mentioned this is in between coats 7 and 8. And what that is the first 2 coats are a 5-pound cut. And then every subsequent coat is a 1-pound cut. I heard the guys on Wood Talk talking about how I think they thought the 2-pound was thin enough. And why would you thin it? But my experience has been starting off with these thin coats and then only going with a coat as heavy as 1 pound. I never use thicker than 1 pound. I get, I think, very good results, and it builds very nicely. And I can't say that that a 2-pound wouldn't work, but this method is working so well that I have no desire to try it out and find that something else isn't as good. So maybe I'm missing out. I don't know, but what I'm doing here is going to be 2 half-pound cuts followed by 10 1-pound cuts to give me a total of 12 coats of shellac. Now here we are after the coat of shellac, and excuse me if I sound a bit muffled, I'm wearing the vapor mask now. I was mistaken before. We were not between coats 7 and 8, we were between coats 8 and 9, but you can see the nice gloss there of the still wet shellac off the light. The camera is of course shading it, but looks pretty good. That'll dull a little bit, and we'll just keep building that film up. So I've also just mixed some more shellac, and I do it nice and simply. Just some denatured alcohol, some seal coat, which starts as a 2-pound cut, and I use Kenneth's app. Its name is escaping me. Kenneth Woodruff makes a wonderful app for Android and iOS that does many different things with woodworking, and one of them is it can help you adjust cuts of shellac. So for this example, I started a 2-pound cut of shellac. I added 1 part shellac and 0.83 parts of alcohol. I did that by eye, and I end up with a little jar of 1-pound cut shellac. And that'll be more than enough to finish this. I started with just a little bit on the bottom. I was able to get 8 coats on. It does not require much to do a little project like this. That's a step in the shellacking, and that's it. The wine rack is just about done. Between tonight and tomorrow, I have to get all the shellac on. It gets presented on Wednesday, on Christmas. Here we go.